present my negotiation to the staff, and hopefully they'll consider my ideas, and which are the students' ideas.
Okay, thank you, Liam. Now we move on to Faris Salame. So Faris, please turn on your camera, and the floor is yours. Okay. So Faris, your question. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, can you give an example of something you could introduce that would raise the profile of the school in the community in the current circumstances?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, of course. Can you give an example of something you could introduce that would raise the profile of the school in the community in the current circumstances? And what's something you would do to raise the school's reputation, in these times, in these Corona times, where nothing's predicted?
I think that we might do some online clubs. And
okay. There's another question. You mentioned in your application. Okay. You mentioned in your application video that you're going to make a strong connection with students and teachers during these difficult times. How would you do that?
As you know, I'm very close to students in my grade. I'm friend with everyone with them. So I'll try to take any point into consideration, and I will implement them into the administration.
Okay, thank you, Faris. We have a follow-up question. What kind of clubs? What do you think? Clubs like what?
PE, art, maybe coding, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Faris. Umar Khalifa, it's your turn. Please turn on your camera and unmute. We have two questions for you too. Okay, you talk about changing things for the better. Can you give an example of one thing that you would change and why?
So, for instance, now we're seniors and we're going to universities next year. So one thing which I could do is like get people to talk more about universities, how to apply, and make it easier for us to get into good universities throughout the world.
Okay.
Mr. David is asking, as a student leader, you have to represent all students. Do you have the same connection with other years as you do with year 13?
Yeah, of course. So when we take into consideration other students in year 12, 11, 10, we could do other things which would suit them, such as maybe activities like debate clubs or like to improve their speaking skills in many fields, which could help them in the future.
Okay, we have one more question. Since you said you applied as general, you just want to be part of the team, what is your preferred position and what will you bring to the team?
I actually don't have a preferred position because this doesn't matter. What matters the most is helping other students by helping to reach their voice to the administration and work on each and every idea they have. So this would maybe improve the school's reputation. Okay,
thank you very much. We have, if anyone has a question for, okay, we have a question from Ms. Amal.
Can you turn on your camera, please?
And unmute. Umar Khalifa.
Firstly, Ms. Amal would like to thank you all for this great learning experience. Wishing you all the best of luck. Her question is to Amar. What skills does a good, effective leader possess?
So their skills may vary from person to another since personalities are different, but many people may have leadership skills and speaking skills and communication skills with other people. I see that one of the main skills which each person should have is communication skills because this, like becoming a member of the Super 7, would require people to communicate with all people throughout the school.
Okay. Thank you, Omar. Now we're moving on to our second category, which is head boy, and we have Amr Ghanem. So Amr, please turn on your camera, unmute, and just a second. Okay.
Can you see me?
Yes. Okay. Amr, you have said that candidates from the years before have promised and weren't able to deliver. What makes you special, and what will you deliver?
Okay. Throughout the years of seeing the ex-senior students, how they manage the year and the activities that they've done, I've seen let's say a pattern where they all try to entertain themselves more than help out the community in the school. Of course, I'm going to help my year be entertained and have the best year of their lives. But actually, I want to give the younger generations, especially the high school, year 10, 11, and 12, what I didn't get in school. That goes on from practice for college applications. We've had many seminars in school where colleges would come to us, tell us about what they offer, their tuition fees. We're situated in this country. We have 3 campuses, but none of them actually explained to us the process of how applying works. What other resources do we have? What activities does a university look into? What looks good on a college application? I want all of these to be expressed to students. Also, I would make sure that if I do get the head boy position, it requires good leadership skills. And throughout the years, I've developed some certain skills of leadership. For me, leadership is not basically one in charge. It's basically a team effort. Since a team consists of many members, the leader's job is to know how these members act, what they think of, how do they operate, so that he could link them all together and have one combined unit. That's the job for a leader, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. We have another question. How will you be able to make this senior year memorable, keeping in mind the current pandemic?
As I've said also in the video, although we're studying virtually and we're studying everything online, that does not stop us from having a good senior year, actually an exceptional one, since now, without even doing anything, everybody will remember our year, especially us, since it's the first year online. But mostly we could actually, as some of my colleagues said, we could start clubs online, and clubs that would also benefit us in the long run, such as what anyone is interested, graphic designing, coding, online chess games. It doesn't. Not everything has to be educational in a purpose where you memorize stuff and you write essays and you solve equations. You could actually be entertained and learn more from watching videos, especially like from experienced people, influencers. We could actually implement that in online school.
Okay, thank you, Ram. Those are the questions we have. But if anyone has a question for Ram, please type it down in the chat box so we can ask him before we move on to our next speaker.
Amr, what did you learn personally from this year, COVID-19, and are you willing to change?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the argue. What did you learn this year? Okay, so this year I actually learned that I could actually depend on myself when studying, since due to the pandemic, especially at the beginning in March and April, I personally did not really focus on online school. I took it as something that would end in a couple of weeks, and I was careless about it. Then when I found out that it's really serious and we're not going back to school, I started working hard on my education, my subjects, and making sure that I know everything. That's when I realized that we actually could depend on ourselves, but in school we aren't really taught that. So an idea that I would encourage the school to begin implementing on students is the idea of having like specific things to research about for students. They could be graded and they could not be graded, depends on the school, but it would really teach the student how to be independent and how to work on themselves without having someone telling them to do it. They would do things out of love to enhance themselves, to be more like to advance and be better than their colleagues, so that they would all be competing to become better than each other.
Okay, thank you, Amr. We're moving on to Jude Awatani for head girl.
Jude, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. All right. Okay. Jude, if we assume that the situation is unlikely to change in the foreseeable future, can you give one example of an event that you would propose and execute?
Okay, that's a really good question. Now, virtually, I'm thinking of organizing a virtual talent show, maybe, that both parents and teachers and students can participate in to entertain everyone during this pandemic. I believe together we can also start weekly virtual health activities such as yoga to increase the NES community's well-being. And when it comes to physical events, in these circumstances, my aim is to make sure that any event that takes place would follow the rules of social distancing, wearing masks, and physical hygiene.
Okay, thank you.
Jude, why do you want to be part of this year's leadership team, and why should voters choose you?
I will try to give each senior the year we always wanted ever since we were kids. I want to make sure that our year is balanced between good academic performance as well as enjoying our last year of high school. I will also start up a weekly virtual team with the help of my 6 other colleagues or candidates, where all students have the right to share their concerns and feedback about their school year. And I guarantee you that every and each single concern and idea will be thought of and a solution will be found.
Okay, thank you. If anyone has any questions for Jude, please type them down in the chat box, and we'll be asking them to Jude. So, okay. How can you help younger students as well?
Mute.
No.
What was the question?
How can you help younger students as well?
Well, now 2020 has been hectic on us all with like many uncertainties. So we're hoping for the best out of 2021. So, but we're not like certain that something better is gonna come. However, students should still get a chance to have a fun year, even in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm here to help out by bringing new ideas to the school's PR team and make this year a memorable one to the youngsters and also to us seniors.
Okay, thank you, Jude. We're moving on to Dareen al-Masri for deputy head girl. Dareen, if you can turn on your mic and camera. Can you turn on your camera, please?
It's on. Can you see me?
On and off. Oh, now I can see you. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Dareen. Okay. Why did you choose the position deputy head girl specifically?
Okay. So basically, I believe 2020 was all about practicing gratitude, and 2021 should be about change. So I believe I have worked enough on my gratefulness, and now I believe 2021 is my chance to improve. And I believe being put in my position as deputy head girl will give me the opportunity to give back to both students and teachers. And I believe in teamwork, okay? So I believe like there is no one position that makes me the perfect candidate, but I believe together we can accomplish something. That is why I ran for deputy head girl and not head girl.
Okay, we have another question. As a student, what will you get out of this position?
What will I get out of it? I believe that I can get out of this so much. For starters, the experience itself will help improve my leadership skills. And let's not mention how great all of this looks on my university application. And I really just want the chance to like communicate with the rest of the school, all levels. And I'm not just talking about seniors, I'm talking about all of the levels, middle school, high school, and so on.
Okay, you have a question from Mr. David. How are you going to balance your studies with being a member of the student leadership team?
I believe somehow, surprisingly, online school has made learning somehow easier. It has made me balance my life, and if I actually focus in online school, it's somehow easier for me to like study and manage, and it takes less time, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Darian.
Oh, now we will be moving on to another head girl. Hanan Abu Abdu, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Okay. Hanan.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Okay. How can you help students find the right balance between study and leisure?
It's all about time management. So basically, I would like to have one-on-one sessions with any student who's struggling with balancing their studies with their personal life and all that type of stuff. And we will sit and we will make a study schedule that fits perfectly with their needs and their life. And that way it will help a lot with their stress and anxiety. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. You said that you want to focus on students' mental health. How are you aiming to do so?
So the thing that I mentioned, that's a big thing, a big part of it, because we really are overwhelmed with the amount of assignments that we have, and the amount of time that we have is not enough, especially that we had 2 externals this year. So by scheduling our time and focusing on our time management, this will help a lot with decreasing the stress, and it helps us stay positive basically. And then another thing is something to do with the senior lounge, but I'm just going to mention it because with the circumstances it may be difficult. So yeah, those are the ideas.
Okay, thank you, Hanan. If anyone has any questions for Hanan, please type them down in the chat box so we can ask them to Hanan. Okay, Ms. Ahmed is asking you something. Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Of course. I'd say I am dedicated, I am committed, and I'm focused.
Thank you, Hanan. If anyone has more questions, please type them down. Okay, I guess that's all. Thank you very much, Hanan.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have another head girl. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm somehow. Okay, now it's Rahaf Abu Wendy's turn. She's also going for the role head girl.
Hi.
Hi. Wow.
I would just like to say thank you for everyone, and I would love to say good luck for the rest of the candidates too, and I hope everyone does well, and good luck for everyone.
Thank you, Rahaf. Very kind words. We're going to start with a question from one of our attendees. How will you try and give us the year we all wanted?
Despite the devastating situation we are facing right now with the corona situation, I would love to make it feel like there's no restriction being on us enjoying our time. At the same time, I want to ensure our safety as a school and as students, and make sure like we all have the safety and our well-being is all right and everything, but at the same time, like I hope I would make a great position for this.
Thank you, Raf. We have more questions for you. Okay. Can you give one example of something you would do to help overcome the obstacles of this year?
Yes, of course. Hala, with the online we have and everything, the virtual, I would like to make things like online clubs, like let's say bingo or chess clubs or something like how Amir said, to overcome like the environment we're having at home and overcome and make and be happy with like the situation we're in right now, and hopefully it would work. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Raf. There's one more question.
What do you plan on doing when offered the position of head girl?
Hala, I plan on many things. Of course, the MUN, obviously, which many people enjoy. I would love to, whether it's virtual, whether it's in real life, I would love to make it, a successful thing. And is that it does not, if it doesn't succeed, as I'll make sure to find the best quality of alternatives to make other things for other people to enjoy. And of course, I want other people to pursue their other hobbies. Like, let's say, for example, some people love to play gaming, like on PlayStation. I would love to make like competitions against other schools, like, for example, or like other people who want to pursue their art abilities, competitions like against other schools for art competitions and stuff like that. That would make like the school's reputation be more known. And yeah, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Rahaf.
If anyone has any questions for Raf, please type them down in the chat so she can answer them. Where we move on to our next candidate.
Okay, I think that's all. We're moving on to Shahid Abdul Qadir for the position of
Head girl.
head girl.
Shahid, please turn on your camera and unmute.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, hi Kareem, hi everyone who's watching. My name is Shahid Abdul Qadir to begin with. Okay, you can begin.
Shahid, how would you bridge the gap between students and staff?
Okay, so first of all, I have a good relationship between the staff, and I think I have a good relationship between the students. So I might be a good bridge between them to the ideas that the staff have for the students, whether it's academically, for the assignments, for any activities they want, or the students for the staff. I think I can bring them up in a good way. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Shahid. We have a question from two of our attendees. Same question. How will you be able to help the staff?
Oh, okay. How will I be able to help the staff? As I know, or as far as I know, online teaching has been very stressful for both students and the staff, and for me, honestly. I can help the staff. For example, they could ask me anything, whether for me to set an assignment, for me to prepare the meeting, for me to do a PowerPoint, anything, or for me to get them ideas for something they're not sure of, or whether the student has an idea that wants me, or if the student has an idea and that they want me to give it to them. Sorry, I'm stressed, but okay.
It's fine. We have a question from our attendees, Ms. Maysoon. What are the characteristics of a good Super 7 team member?
Okay, characteristics of a good Super 7 team member. First one, which is the most important one, it's teamwork. For me, honestly, as I said in my video, when being united together, as we have different personalities, views, perspectives, everything, when being united, we can bring a change and a very accomplishment. Also, we can be passionate, committed, and dedicated to our work. And we have to manage. We have time management. It's not always it's Super 7, and also we have externals, we have assignments, we have quizzes, we have classes. So we must manage between everything that we are taking.
Okay, thank you, Shahid. We're going to move on to Tia Halasse for the role of
Thank you, everyone.
head girl. Tia, please unmute and turn on your camera.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah.
We can see you.
Before we're going to ask you one question from our attendees. What makes you unique?
So what makes me unique basically is I'm a very rational person. I can balance between ideas that would balance between our staff and the students. They would satisfy both ends. And I've been, I can represent the school in a very confident way because I've been on stage my life. And I believe I can represent the school in a confident way and in a respectful manner.
Thank you, Tia. You talk about introducing new ideas in your video. Can you give one example of one of your new ideas, please?
One of my ideas is basically conducting a virtual MUN and also conducting many virtual activities for both staff and the students. The activities would, of course, be optional. The activities mainly focus on physical activity and many different activities that would satisfy both students and the staff.
Thank you, Tia. There's one more question. By the way, if anyone has a question for Tia, please type it down while she answers this one. How will you, as head girl, be able to represent your school during these times?
So during these times, we don't really have any physical events. So the best way to present our school is online, being on time, always attending classes, giving assignments on time, and also respecting our teachers and our staff and everyone.
Thank you, Tia. If anyone has a question for Tia, please type it down. Okay. I guess that's all for Tia. Thank you very much, Tia.
Thank you.
Now we'll be moving on to the last person in the head girl category, which and head girl and deputy head girl. Leen Khalale, please turn on your camera and unmute. Liam.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, Lian, we have. If anyone has a question for Lian, please type it down while she answers the questions we already have. Okay.
Leen Khalale, you talk about real change in your video. What is one real change you would like to introduce?
I think the most important change we should do in our school is mental health. We don't talk about mental health a lot in our school. But I think mental health is as important as physical health. A lot of our students are very quiet, they're very shy, they're not confident at all, and they lack self-love. I was one of those students, but then I learned how to love myself and how to speak what's on my mind and how to gain confidence. So I think we should really focus on that because a lot of students struggle with speaking what's on their mind. And I think most problems happen because lack of communication.
Okay, thank you, Leen. I have a follow-up for you. What's your opinion on students' mental health, specifically during the pandemic?
I think during the pandemic, we focused more on students' physical health. We don't want students to catch COVID, of course, but we forgot to focus on their mental health. Of course, this is taking a huge toll on all of us mentally. Not being there at school and everything really affects us mentally. I think we should focus on that. We should talk more about our emotions because talking really helps. You don't realize that everyone shares similar problems until you talk about them, and it would make you feel better.
Okay, thank you, Leen. We have another question. Okay, what's one thing? Okay, sorry. What one thing can you recommend to the students to support their mental health?
I recommend talking about it. Talking about it helps a lot. It helped me a lot. Seeing that everyone shares similar problems and trying to solve them with someone can't hear my audio.
No, we can hear you. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Talking about it really helps, and I mean, why solve your problems alone when you can solve them with other people that love you and support you?
Okay. Celine's asking, how can you help others open up about such a sensitive topic?
Of course, it is a very sensitive topic. It took me a lot of time and a lot of courage to open up about it, but I think we should encourage students to talk about it and make them feel that it's okay to have mental problems. A lot of the time, we feel like it's not okay. We should make students feel like it's okay to open up and that everyone has problems of their own. Everyone has their own battles to fight, and I think we should really encourage students to talk more.
Okay, so one final question.
What makes you so confident that you can be an excellent role model, like you mentioned in your video?
A couple of years ago, I noticed that I was a role model for my younger brother. When I noticed that, I felt this huge responsibility and the urge to be a better person and to work harder and to be the best version of myself, because when you have a responsibility like that, you don't want to fail that responsibility. Someone looking up to you is a very big deal, and I think I have what it takes.
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn Khalaide. We're going to move on to our second, our fourth category. We have Salma for female sports captain. Salma, please turn on off. Okay.
Hi. Hope you're all doing fine.
Thank you. Salma, how can you raise the profile of sports in the school in the current climate?
Okay, so due to the corona outbreak, we weren't physically moving or doing any exercise, and it's been affecting us all in a bad way. And especially in our school, we weren't attending, we weren't having practices, neither online nor in school, obviously. So that affected us.
Okay, if anyone has a question for Salma, please type it down when she answers this one. Okay, Salma, what do you think is a sport event that you can do even if we're always online, something that we cannot control?
We can have online webinars where we can open our cameras and do workouts together, because it's really helpful. Our physical health matters, and it boosts our immunities.
Okay, there was a question, but you answered it. It was, how can you do sports online? But you just answered it, so thank you for that. So
if you have any questions, please type them in so we can ask them to Salma. Okay, I think that's...
How important is sports for you?
In my opinion, it's so important. It really helps you. It helps the way you think. It improves your teamwork, your time management skills, everything.
Okay, thank you. Okay. What can someone do exercise if they're not athletic?
You don't really exercise. You can just do simple workouts, which when you continue and do them more, you can become athletic, but you don't really have to be athletic.
Okay. How can you encourage students to stay committed to virtual workouts?
By spreading awareness about the importance of physical health, and as I mentioned, how it helps our immunities, especially in this time. And we can do fun activities while exercising. It doesn't have to be only doing push-ups or sit-ups.
Okay, Salma, I think that's all for you. Best of luck. And now we will be moving on to the male sport captains. Thank you. Okay, so first we will start off with Omar Abu Sheikh. Omar, please unmute and turn on your camera.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, we can. Omar,
Yeah.
Your first question is, how are you going to balance your sporting activities with your schoolwork and take on this role?
With the global pandemic that sadly happened this year, I saw that virtual learning really instead of us being at school, so if I had practice after school, I would have to have the time to go to school, to go back home, and then go to practice, and then come back study. But with virtual learning, I just finished school, and then just instead of the time wasting coming back from school to home, I can just go straight to practice. And at night I study, and then I can work on the role.
Okay. Do you think that this position is a win-win position? Get benefits from it and add benefits to others.
I'm sorry, your voice cut off. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sorry. Do you think that this position is a win-to-win position? You get benefits from it and you add benefits to others.
Yes, of course. I mean, if this role I can build off, because for me, I've seen myself as the leader of almost all sports teams this year. Basketball, I've been a part of the football, volleyball, track and field teams. I've seen myself as a leader, so I mean, yeah, I can.
Okay. Would you say sports is a vital way to life?
For me personally, I believe sports is very important because it keeps a person in shape. It keeps a person in. It's fun, of course, and it's just the competitive nature of playing sports. Of course, is always well. I mean, I take sports very seriously. It's just a well around. All sports are just very important.
Okay, thank you, Omar. If anyone has any questions for Omar, please type them down in the chat box. I think that's all. Oh, okay. How can you support sports? How can you support sports in the current climate?
Well, as for me right now, I'm a part of the basketball. I take part in the basketball in the Jordanian National League, which is the under 18 league, where I play on the Al Riyadi team. Right now, we're playing. Alhamdulillah, we reached the final four now, and we're playing our tournament. So we're doing every 2 weeks. We're doing the Corona test, so we can ensure the safety of the students, the athletes, and student athletes, of course. And we're just we are learning how to live with the virus instead of avoiding it. So we're really we're getting back in there.
Okay, that's great to hear. And best of luck with everything. Now we'll be moving on to our second male sports captain candidate, Zaid Sheikh Saleh. Please turn on your camera and unmute. Thank you, Omar. Okay. Oh, hi Zaid.
Me?
Oh. Can you speak again?
Yes, okay. Wait.
Oh, okay, now that we can hear you. Okay. What kind of sporting activities do you have in mind, given the current restrictions?
Well, I would like to bring back Sports Day as wait. Okay. Yes, I would like to bring Sports Day. So, like any activities in the football field, such as running, like push-ups, set-ups, and football activities and baskets and every other sport that has been removed this year.
Okay.
Okay, we have another question. How can you encourage non-athletic students to start doing sports? Some find it very difficult to just start.
Well, I think competitions will bring out the best in everyone. Some people are competitive, which will help them in wanting to join these activities. So, like if there are competitions and maybe give out rewards and things like that. Maybe other people will get encouraged and join sports activities.
Okay, thank you. Which athlete inspires you, and how did you change your perspective on sports?
Personally, I think every athlete deserves to be recognized, as they all fight to be special and to be on top. But one that stands out is Lionel Messi. He came from a poor background and with a hormone growth deficiency, and was able to conquer the football world, and he is on top right now, winning 6 times the best player in the year, which is the most. And this inspires me so much. It changes my perspective in sports, showing you that no matter your background, no matter where you come from, no matter the sickness, you can always be able to overcome anything and get on top.
Okay, thank you, Zaid. Last question. What would you say to a student who says he or she hasn't time to take part in sports because they have to study?
Well, some people can change their perspective, such as people who study all the time. But my advice would be you can always find free time for things you enjoy, such as you finish studying, and it's not something like video games or something else. It is sports help us maintain a healthy body, and it's fun. So it's a healthy way and fun, something fun to do in your free time.
Okay, thank you, Zaid. That's all for you. Best of luck. And now we'll be moving on to our last category, which is the head prefect. We'll be starting off with Tiba. Tiba, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Tiba, how will you make sure your prefects are punctual, respectable, and great ambassadors for the school during vital virtual lessons?
Okay, so obviously it's all about the responsibility to be responsible and to work hard with online school. And I'm sure everybody thinks that it's a tough time for us to actually present ourselves. But with the assignments that our teacher give us, and with our presence and participation, we could all work together and to perform well in our online classes, and to also help our teachers who are working really hard to take out the best out of us in these tough times.
Okay, thank you, Tigo. If anyone has any question for Tigo, please type it down. We have one so far. Karim.
Till now, nobody thought of supporting French language. Since we are online, how would you encourage the use of French among students?
Well, obviously, we all like learning a new language